Changes on you, boys. Ready.
Hey cycling community, this is Steve Grusis, the Cycling Greek. These guys are taking off like a bat out of hell because the promoter decided to have a GLAP 1 cash preem, and then he immediately doubled it. 5 pedal strokes in and well into hypoxia, my teammates go past me, and I'm already redlining and having trouble getting onto their wheels. Now I was starting to get pissed. Last week I chose not to race because I overdid it the day before, and being AFA boy I had to be careful about that stuff. So I made sure that this week, the day before this race, I didn't overdo it. I warmed up well. I warmed up for about 40 minutes. So I thought I was ready, and I was actually looking forward to this race. Not even half a lap in, and if I wasn't so on the brink, I would have even been more angry. Finally, some juniors and some others are starting to go past me. I'm doing what I can to get on their wheel. I then see the mentor go by me, and I figure everyone else behind me is dropped. So now it's now or never. There's one more, and I'm able to make contact. Now this is still a preem lap, so we're still going pretty fast. I'm recovering under stress, and I'm not doing that good a job of it. My main focus now is to stay connected and recover as best as I can. A couple laps later, I'm still with the group, and my body is finally settled down. Now those initial juniors that took off to go for the preem, I think they're still away. So we are basically one pack with a bunch of stragglers back there, chasing a group of 3 or 4 juniors. In fact, you can see the juniors up ahead between the pack. It's at this time that Gary, my teammate, decides to attack, and he puts in a jump. So now everyone's jumping after him, and good thing that I've recovered a bit. So I'm getting on wheels. It's taking a while to get on wheels, but I'm getting on wheels. Gary then decides to put in a big pull. Ordinarily in situations like this, you want to work with others. But Gary doesn't always tend to think that way. He's got a big engine, and this is pre-season, so he doesn't know what the form of the others are like. But still, he burned quite a bit of matches. Now he bought back some real estate, but he burned quite a few matches. And that may bite him in the butt later on. There's still a lot of time left in this race. So if you can get everybody to work together at a good pace on their edge, then you'll have a good chance of bringing back that break. Seemingly the pack is tired from Gary's pull, but that may not be the case. I am now concerned that we slow down a little too much. Our mentor, who's a Cat 1, sees that the gap is small enough where he's starting to jump across to it just to see what those guys are doing. I, in the meantime, decided we need to keep this chase going, so I go to the front and do a pull. Then this happens. Some guy's looking to get a free ride from the mentor, which is a no-no, and he jumps across. Now the others are seeing this, so they're going to try and jump across to get on that guy's wheel who's going to be on the mentor's wheel. Other than wishing I had the legs to jump on these guys' wheels, I just didn't have the legs to jump on these guys' wheels. So now these guys have taken off, and the pack is split with me in the butt end of the split. So let's take stock. My teammate Gary did a huge pull, brought back real estate, but burned a bunch of matches doing so. He didn't communicate with the rest of the pack to entice them to chase. We had a group of strong riders in the back just sitting in. Eventually they attacked, and when they attacked they formed their own chase group, but they didn't have the benefit of Gary to add to their horsepower. But the story doesn't end there. A lot of the riders that are left in the butt end of the pack are now starting to attack each other. They're probably thinking that they can solo up to that strong chase group that has just formed. After we beat our heads in a couple more times, we finally settled down to trading pulls. These weren't fluff pulls either. We were doing these at speed, and it was wearing on me. I'd miss a couple of turns, my teammates would miss a couple of turns. Our pack would occasionally get smaller and smaller. Then finally, with 8 laps to go, I had reached my edge, and I saw these guys go on and I just couldn't respond. Still, I was having too much fun. So I kept spinning around, and with coming into 4 laps to go, the lead junior, who was off the front solo, came back into the group. The group had connected with me, and I thought, okay, I'll just ride these guys' wheels in and just watch them. Well, as soon as we made that last turn, they decided to jump, and I don't have any jump. So they went off, and then I just watched them go because I couldn't do anything about it. So I hung in and waited for my group. By the way, you remember earlier in the race when I said that there was a bunch of riders behind us that were pretty strong, they were just hanging on, and then they attacked us to chase on their own? It looks like they made it to the lead group, and good on them. So this should tell Gary that there's some other options that he can consider should he be in a similar situation next week. 1. Entice the others to work with him. 2. Don't burn himself out on big poles. Take shorter poles. And 3. Be ready to jump on those guys' wheels should they elect to go on their own again. When Gary's group came by, they came by pretty strongly and developed a gap. Now at that point I could have just phoned it in and just spun around a little more, sat out the last lap to watch the sprint. If I did that, however, I would have been missing out on some added improvement. So I dug and I got on their wheels, and now I get to race for more, at least for another 2 laps. And I just didn't sit in. I did my share of the pulling. There were 4 of us, then there were 3 of us, and then in the final sprint I just couldn't hang with them, and I'd watch them go. This is quite an improvement over the first week. I look forward to what I can do next week, which is going to be the last week of a 4-week series of the Skills Clinic practice races. I hope you enjoyed this video and got something out of it. Not only do I try to do commentary to give you a blow-by-blow of the race, but I also want to make it a training tool. Look for the Strava link in the description below of this race. Also look for my upcoming video on a commentary on the women's race. That is the women's Cat 5 race. I also aim to make that a training tool for entry-level women. Alright, that's it. Remember the drill. Comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.